long spine. So from here, I'm going to really tighten up in my core area, not just let everything set. Okay, so bring it up, bring it in, and keeping this tight really helps to strengthen and soothe that lower spine. So from here, I'm going to focus on crown moving forward, tailbone moving back, finding opening between each of my vertebrae here in this half forward fold. And from here, looking down, we're just going to start our breathing in this way. So when you inhale, feel that breath sending itself shooting out of the crown of your head and down, back, past, through your tailbone. And when you exhale, feel yourself pulling in navel to spine and strengthening that core, okay? Keep going with some breaths here. We're also strengthening our arms just by weight bearing here. We're not doing any kind of a full push-up here, but we are weight bearing for the top part of our body. Feel yourself really opening up like an accordion, stretching, okay? And on the exhale, keep your length, but pull in at your navel. 4 more breaths like this, please. Slow. Full. Deep. Just 5 more here. Good. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my legs and open them up, toes out, heels in, back still really straight, okay? We're going to come in and out of a little bit of, come onto your fingertips to begin with, if that feels all right for you, and just take the weight off of the palms. And then I'm going to just lift up onto the balls of my feet. And I'm still with that straight spine, still engaging in my core as I have this semi-inclined position. And then I'm going to come back down to my heels. I'm going to press still through my fingers, keeping them strong. Come up onto my heels. Legs are feeling this. In the back side of the legs, a nice stretch here. And then let my feet come down, lift up, and come onto the balls of my feet. Feel this engagement right in here, okay? And then bringing myself down, coming to the heels, finding that stretch in the back side of my legs, right? Flat feet, come on up. And flat feet, come on back onto your heels. 1 more cycle like this, you guys, okay? Flat feet's neutral, rising up, engaging. Fingers are getting stronger too with this kind of piano attachment to the seat of your chair. And then come onto flat feet. Come onto the sides of your chair, all right? And hold on there. Still with this flat spine, okay? If you want, you can lower that spine a little bit more by bending into your elbows. But really, it's whatever feels right for you. Straight arms or a little bit of a bend. And doing that is a bit of a push-up also, okay, if you want to add some of that. Otherwise, find what you like there and go ahead and bend into your knees. Focus on taking these knees back, all right, instead of letting them fall forward. And then find your gaze forward as well. Come down to whatever. It might just be a slight little bend. It might be a really deep bend. Find where you are in your legs today, in your glutes, in your whole entire body. And then from here, lift up onto one ball of one foot, press down, let the heel release. Come up to the other side, ball of the foot presses into the ground, heel releases down, and continue that, okay? moving from side to side. So you're going to see me today mostly with a straight spine because that feels good to me. But at any time you can take that into forward folding or into a back bend, right? But this is proof that even with a lower back spasm, we can still do yoga. We just might need to keep our back straight. All right, from here, straighten your legs. That should feel a little bit of a relief. Come down onto forearms, okay? So for me, that's a bit of a bend, and that's about all I'm going to do today. Pressing into forearms. Take your chin to your chest and let your heavy head release. Feel the lengthening in the backside of your legs. Feel the lengthening in the backside of the cervical spine. Pulling at your navel and stay strong in your core. That might have been also why I injured my lower spine, is because my core is saying, my abs are saying, hey, you got to pay attention to us in order to keep that lower spine strong and safe. And then take your head back so that your neck is in alignment with your rest of the vertebral spine. Come back onto your hands flat onto the chair. One hand comes to the center. Take your other hand to your hip or behind you on your back, lower spine, and take a twist. I will not be coming into twists really deeply today. You take yours to where it is right for you. Pulling one shoulder back and the other one forward, taking that gaze up, 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 and then taking yourself back down, looking at that hand on the chair, replacing it with the other one, and that hand then that's replaced comes to the back, coming onto that lower back, into your hips, take that twist. Wherever again your back is willing, wanting to go. And then bringing yourself back. Take your hands back to the side of your chair. Heel toe your feet in just a little bit more, maybe almost to the chair legs. And then we're just going to take a little bit of bend in the knee as we kind of sit back, okay? So I'm not just bending forward, I'm kind of sitting back into it. But again, make sure you're balanced on this. And then rise up, balls of the feet. Come on back down. Little baby squats here, okay? To your body's depth. Paying attention to our knees here too, okay? Paying attention to everything. Because when we stop being mindful, that's when injuries can occur. And we all have stories about those, right? We all have our own history of imbalances or body aches, pains, injuries. Let's do 2 more of these, really coming up high, taking on down, warming up those quadriceps, bringing on up, and take it back to straight legs. Take your feet back so that they're parallel to one another. Walk them back and take yourself up into a standing mountain pose, okay? So we're going to stand up here right by our chair, taking my hands to the base of my spine or right here on my hips, pulling back on my shoulders, and then opening up my heart. Hips come forward. Notice how mine aren't coming very forward today, but that's okay. I can still open up my heart. I can still pull my shoulders back and down, and I still feel that release and unzipping of the front of my body. This is better for me than forward folding. And then I'm going to come back to straight. And then from here, take your chair and turn it around so that the tall part is next to you. And I'm going to just move my device a little bit because it's starting to get into the sun. I can move it up, keep it out of the sun, and still let you guys be able to see what I'm doing. That's good. All right, so here we are on the back of the chair. And from here, we're going to go ahead and turn. So the back of the chair is right next to my hip. And let's get some side opening going. Find your feet about hips distance. Lift up your arm. Come on over, right? So noticing I am not coming over as far as I normally would, but that's okay. I'm still opening up my intercostal muscles here, pressing down equally on both feet. And I'm not coming into any place that's going to further injure me. Just opening up what I have available. Bring myself up. Take that hand down. Let's do that 3 more times. Lift, lengthen, take yourself over. Find your C shape, you guys, okay? Your C shape will look more like a C than mine does. Take it to where your body says yes. Bring yourself up. Take that arm down. 2 more, okay? Lifting and take yourself over. Feel that lengthening. Press down equally into both feet. Oh, yes. Take that hand down. Una vez más. Stretch up. Come on over. And bring myself up. Take that hand down. Before we go to the other side, turn towards the chair. And let's just have enough room between our bodies and that chair, enough distance between our legs to take some circles with our hips, okay? And go ahead and reverse this, little injuries help to slow us down a bit, and it helps us to be really grateful for how our bodies work together in unison. And when one thing, and then just left and right, tick-tock a little bit with your hips. When one thing's not quite in alignment, how the rest of our body reacts to help it, to protect it. And then coming back here, we're going to take it to the other side now for those open body stretches. So I'm going to move my chair so I'm not facing away from you guys. One hand on the top part of your chair, feet about distance of your hips, armless, lengthen. Come on over. Really lengthen in. Let's take a couple breaths on each of these lengthenings, pushing down solidly into that outside foot especially, because it wants to lift up when we come over. And then let's take it down on an exhale. Lifting up and coming over. Nice. Bring it on up. And take it on down. 2 more times, rising. And over. Take myself up. And exhale down. Rise up, inhale. Exhale it over. A couple of breaths here. Or you can work on alignment. You can work on lengthening, more depth. Bring yourself up. Exhale your hand down. Good. Let's turn back towards that chair. Keeping our body straight. Feet are staying forward. I'm just going to take my weight on one foot. Take the other leg out. Lift it up. Keep that leg straight. Keep the foot flexed. And I'm going to come in to some pulsing here. Where you're going to feel this is right here in this happy hip area, okay? And remember, use that chair for balance, pressing down, okay? Not pulling back towards you guys, all right? Lift, bend, take 4 circles forward and 4 back. Getting into our hips a little bit differently than we can maybe when we're seated in the chair. And we'll get back in that chair or into the chair here in just a little bit. Bring that foot in. Let's take the other leg straight out. Flex the foot. comes lifting off the ground, and we start in to our pulses here. And then lift high, bend into the knee 4 times. Take some tiny little or big circles. Forward, 4 of them, and 4 back. Good. And then let your foot come down. Walk back as far as you can, taking that chair as far forward as you're able, so that you can come into, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to come into like a little angle here. And find that flat spine, okay? We found kind of a flat spine earlier when we were on the seat of the chair. But again, one more time before we come into the chair. Lengthen through your spine, pulling at your navel, crown reaching forward, tailbone reaching back. And then bringing myself up slowly. Bringing that chair back into a front position here. And I'm going to move myself back a little bit more, and I'll move you guys too, so hold on there. You guys get to look at the whole entrance way here. But I want to make sure that the device stays out of the sun, and it's getting warm. You have blocks. Get those available for you while you're seated in your chair. Taking you guys here, see how Mark's designed this little area over here with all his little colorful, fun, whimsical pieces. Every weekend we buy a little other piece. And there we go. Yeah, that's kind of nice. So this is our entrance to our house. If you haven't been here before, please come and visit, or come to the casita and see me over there. There we go. All right, thanks you guys. I'm gonna put the clock back over here. All right, so let's get in our chairs in the shade. It's getting a little hot out there for myself too. And let's find ourselves at the edge of our chair, okay? Seated. So this way, probably you don't need blocks under your feet to keep your backside of your legs from coming into the edge of your chair. You've got that blanket there too. And then let's lean back. Lean back only to the place that you feel like you're working your core. You're not hurting your lower spine, okay? But you're at a recline angle of sorts. Your fingers or hands are extended. Then bring yourself back to straight spine. Take yourself back so that you are enlivening up these core muscles, okay? Feel there if you need to. Otherwise, just take yourself up on an inhale, lengthening, exhale, recline with a straight spine. So these are like mini sit-ups, okay? Exhale back. And again, I know, Chris, we've talked about this before. You don't ever want to go back so far that you begin to feel lower back ache, all right? But doing this, I guess not, but in addition to doing this, if you don't go back too far and you are just working on strengthening here, you are strengthening that lower spine too. Okay, let's do 2 more. Little mini sit-ups. Okay, good. And now let's go ahead and make a figure 4. We've done a little bit of hip opening. Let's do some more. Figure 4 here, taking your ankle over behind your opposite knee. And from here, if you're not crossing here, then just lower that leg down a little bit or put it onto a block, okay? And we're gonna do some twists. Again, mindful twists to where you are able to go today, crossing over to one knee, placing my hand behind me, and I'm coming into a a bit of a twist. And for me today, it's mostly shoulders and head, maybe a little bit of the upper spine, my lower spine saying, no, not right now. And this is really good, listening to our bodies. Bring yourself back. Even if you don't have a so-called injury, let's continue to your body. Slide the other hand down towards your ankle, press behind you, and take your head, shoulders, and as much of your spine back into a twist as you can as we are in this figure 4 with an externally rotated hip. Breathing here and there. And then bringing ourselves back forward. And then from here, let's go ahead and bring our bodies forward again, like we were doing in that little sit-up. And then bring yourself back. Hold on to your shin. Bring yourself back. Feel that even though you're holding on, some engagement right there in your core. Bring yourself forward, almost like you're rowing, okay? Take yourself back. Bring yourself forward. Keeping this foot flexed, I'm going to feel that more in this outer hip, right? And while I'm doing this, I'm feeling that in the hip joint, okay, as I move forward. And I let myself come back using, again, core strength. 2 more, please. 2 more of these kind of little rolling sit-ups. Use breath. Are you going inhale here and exhale here, or vice versa? And then sitting up straight and tall and finding that flex in your foot, leaving your foot right there, or if your foot lifts and you can do that and hold and not feel any discomfort in your knee, then please go ahead and do that. Otherwise, just stay straight. As I lift, I do lean back a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and just rock the baby here. Again, getting into that hip joint. Flexing into my foot to keep working back into the outside part of my hip, into the meaty part of my hip. And placing that foot down. Good, you guys. Let's go ahead and release that foot down and just tap out our feet. Tap them on whatever surface you guys are on. I moved in. It's really getting hot out there. But how nice for that rain last night. I don't know about you in Santa Fe. I bet you got it too. But we had it here. We had Bernalillo all throughout Albuquerque, I'm pretty sure. All right, other foot stays down. Let's take that figure 4 in the opposite way. Again, flexing into the foot keeps this really active, feeling it all the way down into my hip. And sitting up straight and tall here. Go ahead into a twist to begin with. Hand comes to knee, other hand comes behind you. And go ahead and take a look over that shoulder. And so for me, even from today, because I taught a 6 o'clock class too, I can feel the difference in my lower spine. It feels like it's opening up a little bit more because I'm being gentle with it. And tomorrow morning's class is going to be a gentle, restorative, more yin kind of class at the 7:30. The 10 o'clock will be a little more challenging. Let's go ahead and sit up straight and take your head back. And when I say challenging, I'm going to change that word because I think for many of us to stay more yin, to stay more restorative, to stay more gentle is challenging, right? And some people won't even go there. They won't let themselves go there for whatever reason it might be. Let's hold on and do some pulling forward and extending back. It might be because they think, oh, no, that's too easy, or that isn't physical enough for me, or whatever it might be. But they might be the ones that really need that kind of really getting into breath and a more meditative movement than such, I don't really say it, challenging, physical, demanding, whatever that might be, postures and asanas. Bring yourself forward one more time. Take yourself back one more time, and then take yourself up right here. And from here, go ahead, if you did before, and if it feels all right, supporting knee and foot, and lifting just a little bit, coming back onto your tailbones, and then rock the baby. I just had born, there was a great nephew born into the McGarren clan in Florida. I'm not really in touch with them so much, but I got that information via Facebook. So I'm happy for my nephew, John. He was named after my dad, John McGarren, John Joseph McGarren. And bring yourself up and take that foot back down. Take your other foot down, and let's go up and down the balls of the feet, and then stay up. Feel that right here through your shins. Press down into the balls of your feet. Take your hands onto your knees and help press down a little bit more. As you're pressing down, feel that in your arms and all the way up into your chest muscles. And release. So all of my family, that part of my family, now go ahead and open up your legs, that I grew up with. There's a couple few still left in Indiana, but most are on either Florida. I think my brother's going into, he's into the hurricane area right there by Tampa. Take your hands behind you, interlace, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and look up. And then his kids are, they call it like, I don't know, North Carolina, South Carolina, all those areas there in the South. Oh, those good Republicans that they are. Oh, forget what comment my brother made today, but it was some kind of political comment, even with the announcement of his son. That's hard to be part of that family. So I just kind of leave that alone and then come back. And let's go ahead and take our forearm onto our thigh and the other arm up and over and stretching and just feeling that, maybe pulling that upper shoulder back just a bit as we press down on our forearm. Any of you that want to can extend your arm downward towards your foot, towards a block. I'm not going to go that low today. Yeah, and then my birth family, California, feel closer to them. It's weird because I met them later on in life, right? But feel closer to them than I do my family I grew up with, my brother and sister. Not my mom or dad, they've been gone for a while. And I'll get to see my birth family. There's a big celebration going on at the end of the month here. Looking forward to that. And that brother, my half brother, come on up. Let's take our hands onto our shoulders, rise up and come down like a butterfly. That brother has come out to visit many times, gone there to visit him many times. His family had come out. Now let's bring it forward and back. But my brother I was raised with, he's never been out here to visit me. And then up, and then let's take ourselves to one side. And I'm only gonna go a little bit. My back just said that was too far. Bring yourself up, take yourself over. Bring yourself up, take yourself over. I like it when my body speaks to me in any way, right? It really is helpful. And then from here, let's take circles, working into those shoulders. I know that's one of requests that is usually made by Chris. I'm sorry I didn't get your request today, you guys. And let's reverse that. So now you've heard a little bit of my family stories. It's not really a lot of drama, right? I've stayed out of the drama. And it's just kind of, I don't know how to explain it really. And come here and let's go ahead and take some wrist circles. My wrists are feeling it a little bit from that climbing yesterday. But yeah, it was fun. I was scaling all over the place. Mark got some good videos. for me, and he sent them to my daughter. Let's go around the other way. I just have to learn to land softer. They have these really neat things though, those of you that have climbed or not, and let's push out and push towards one side, bring yourself back, push towards the other, bring yourself back. They have these self-belaying equipment so that you don't have to have someone standing underneath you and belaying you. Belaying means helping you come back down. So that was pretty neat and a real trust issue for me. Pull back on your fingers and let's go ahead and pulse. Pull back, feel that, open up your fingers wide to trust that that equipment was going to really help me come down in a safe way. And it did. I just plopped down my own way too fast, too hard. Go ahead now with your fingers pointed down. Let's take and open up the up top of your wrist. Again, really good for all of us that are on the computer so much, driving a lot, anything where our wrists are pulled back in the opposite way. Let your hands come down. Oh, take a couple shoulder rolls back. Stay put there, you guys. I'm gonna move you in a little bit more because the sun's starting to creep in a little bit farther. That should work. All right, let's get ready to do some goddess poses here. So our legs are already in the goddess pose position. Let's get where our arms are warmed up now. Inhale, exhale down. You guys are always welcome to take some of these standing, okay? Or you stand here, your legs are long, and then you exhale into your squat, okay? If you're staying seated, press into your feet on the ground, and you're gonna feel your legs strengthening by pressing energy through your feet into the earth, through your flooring, down into the rooted part of the earth. Exhale, pull down. Inhale, lengthen. This time, take a fist, actually like you're pulling down. Press into those feet. Open up, release fingers, and then squeeze and exhale. Bring it up. Release. And one more time. Take it down. Take it up. Release. Let hands come down. Now, let's go ahead and take our blocks. And again, remembering that blocks have all kinds of heights. Not all kinds, they have 3 heights. And I'm going to use the top because I'm not going to be coming down too far here. But go ahead and take those blocks to the side and take one hand down to your block. Or again, maybe you take it all the way to the ground and not shooting your hand this way. Let's shoot it across our body. All right, so feel yourself like reaching for something there and then pull back. Take your hand over. Open up your fingers wide. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, lengthens. Exhale. 2 more. Maybe following your wrist as you pull back to give yourself a little bit of neck mobility. Good, and then from here, let that hand come down to your thigh and really energize pushing through the thigh, pushing onto the block or into your leg or maybe into the earth, and try to bring that upper shoulder back, trying to open up the heart a little bit here. The other thing, having a little bit of modification means it assists me in learning different ways of doing things, which is really, I think, important for all of us. And then releasing, let's just take this upper arm and let's take some circles. And reverse. Let that arm be free. And one more. Good. Slowly coming out of that. I need support. Ah. I might have stayed in there a little bit too long. Let's go ahead and take some circles with just your upper body. So you feel yourself coming weighted into one sits bone and then into the other. Let's reverse that pattern. Getting ready that our other side of our body is going to be able to manifest in the same way as the one we just did. All right, and from here, reaching on down to that block. And I am actually going to use it a little bit higher this time. I realized staying down that low for that long probably wasn't the best thing for me. And here we go. So here I am. I'm going to take my hand across my body, reaching here, okay? Pulling back and maybe looking back as I do. And when you do, you find yourself coming to a little bit of a twist, right? So I'm coming across my body and then I watch my hand come back. Keep going. So I take that back. Really, a block, if you use both, has more than 3 heights that you wouldn't want to stack one on top of the other like this, because it would be more like a domino and you might just fall with that much weight. But here, doing it this way is really, really stable and gives you a little more height. One more time. Bring it back. And then take your hand down to your thigh, press into both hands and come into that bit of a twist by opening up, looking up, heart expands. Breathing here. And then taking myself forward and taking some freedom with this upper arm. Yeah, like that, I see all of our arms moving. Energy. And let's reverse that. One more round. And then hand to thigh and then lift up. Mm-hmm. And here, take to the right, take to the left, back and forth, okay? Taking this part of your body, right, waist up. You'll feel this in your obliques, okay? If you're really being isolation, working in the isolation, feel that. Okay, good. Come to the center. Let's strengthen our legs a little bit more by staying seated. Hard to believe. We're strengthening our arms too. Hands come to the outside of your knees. I'm not sure if you guys like these or not, or if you fake me out, fake yourself out, don't do anything, but just da, 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 da. Or if you really push in here and pull back there, go ahead and start. If you are, you'll feel all that contraction through your arms, through fingers pressing into the ground, through all of your leg and into your core, all the way up your arms into your chest. Everything is nicely contracted, energized, magnified. Press out with the legs a little more, press in with your hands, keeping everything from moving isometrically here. And big inhale. Exhale, release, and let it go. Shake out your arms. And take your legs and let them fall inward. So we've got this internal rotation, which feels pretty good after having our legs open in that externally rotated way. Maybe even want to do a little bit of that. And then bring yourself back into open. Now I'm going to take my hands on the inside. I'm going to push out, pull in knees, okay? But nothing's going to move, right? And I'm going to sit up straight and tall, and I'm going to begin that process if you want to or not, okay? It's totally up to you guys how much you press, right? That's what isometric is. We determine what our weight is going to be, okay? Not the number on the weight that we're lifting up, but on the amount that we engage into this constricted activity. pressing out, pulling in with my knees, pressing out with my hands, pressing down in the ground, making sure everything is strong. Take a check through feet all the way up. Only thing that's really relaxed is my facial muscles, even a little bit of my shoulders and my neck are coming engaged a bit. A little bit more. Inhale. Exhale. Whew. Let yourself round. You guys might want to round all the way forward to forward fold. Do that if it feels right. You can also build up some blocks and have yourself just coming forward in a real supportive way. But let yourself round a bit. We've been with that straight spine. Let your knees cave in. Let your body do just the opposite of what we've been doing. Except for the breath, not the opposite of the breath. Keep breathing deep and strong and full, delightful breaths. Flatten feet, hands come to thighs. Bring yourself up if you lowered yourself, okay? And then let's walk our feet in, taking our legs and bringing them together, okay? Because we're gonna isometric here as well. We isometric out, now we're gonna isometric pulling in, right? Really pull in. So your knees are connecting, your ankles are connecting, the sides of your feet are connecting, you're feeling everything here, and you're gonna use your hands. And you're gonna go ahead and press. Fingers extend out. Press and press and press. And this is also helping in our urogenital system as well. Big inhale. And exhale. Whew, release. You see, I kind of just sunk down because the muscles of my glutes relaxed. And now I'm going to take one leg over the other. If that's not appropriate for you, please place that foot down a little bit lower there. And from here, let's take some ankle rotations, going in one direction and the other. Hello, hummingbird. He's looking over at the screen. Is it okay for me to come get some water? Interlace fingers, push away, lengthen up, inhale. And let's take our self over to the side. I won't be going very far, doesn't matter. I can still open up the side of my body. Press to your hands, lift yourself back into center. Take yourself over, really press through those interlaced fingers. Bring yourself back up. Release, hands down. Take them behind you, interlace. Pull shoulders together. Pull them down. Open up your heart. Look up. And then lengthening spine by pulling crown upwards. And then let's go ahead and change out our feet. Other leg comes over. We can begin to squeeze there a bit too if you want, just to start. If you want to do that, you can. And then let's take the ankle and let's take some rotations here. I have to move the device maybe one more time before the end of class. We'll see. And reverse. Sunday night was kind of fun. I was teaching my sunset yoga class with Evolve Strong, and I was in Bernalillo, and we just had a torrent of rain there. So I was outside, and my device was under the portal, and then relax that foot there. And then let's go ahead and interlace our hands, take our arms up, and it rained, and I just stayed out in the rain teaching. It was really fun. And I kept having to take the device back a little bit more the harder it rained because the splashes were coming onto it. And then it just poured. And I thought, okay, we only have 5 minutes left, push. So I just took myself under the portal to ended class that way. That was fun. I've always wanted to like do a practice in the rain, and that gave me the opportunity to do that. Bring yourself up. I don't know if you guys got rain here, but we did there. Looking up. And then releasing hands down, take them behind you, interlace in the opposite way, push down, squeeze shoulders, look up. Heart is upward. Good. And then bringing ourselves back up, releasing hands, bring them up. Exhale, hands come to Anjali Mudra. Hands come down, take your leg off, and then let's switch back to the opposite leg so that we can come into a full Garasana, eagle pose. This foot is fine right here or down here, or maybe you take it behind the other ankle. Okay, we're sitting up straight and tall. Our arms rise up, inhale. So my right leg is over my left. It doesn't matter which one you have, but whatever leg is on top, that arm goes under as you fly downwards, okay? And I don't know why they do it that way, but there's something about how everything lines up. And let's pull down on our elbows, pull down on our shoulders. It took me forever to learn that when I was learning to teach this. Rise up, inhale. Your shoulders open and the elbows rise up. Exhale. See if you can bow down to touch your elbow towards your knee, or just bow down into your chest, because that's all I'm doing right now. Inhale, lift. Exhale, take it down to your curling and your tucking and your rounding. Okay. Use your spine if it's available to you fully. I'm using the part of mine that is available to me today. 2 more, please. Arms up and releasing your wings. Fly up, inhale. Exhale, hands to Anjali Mudra. And releasing your legs. Let's go ahead and take the other leg over and maybe find again. Block, forward, behind, what works. Sitting up, straight and tall. Checking on what leg is over on top. That opposite arm goes under. Okay, and we're working in all of the joints here of our body, major joints. Lift up, exhale, take it on down into a bow. Maybe your elbows come towards your knee, just depends. But otherwise, you're at least bowing down and getting into the back of your neck. And you're following breath. And 2 more, please. Looking up, raising up, hands and elbows and curling into self. On an exhale, inhale, lift. Exhale, pulls you on in. Lifting up, releasing arms. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hands come into Anjali Mudra here. And let's go ahead and turn our legs to one side of the chair. And I'm going to bring in the device again a little bit more. I'll try to read the sun a little bit better next time. But you got to protect these things. It doesn't take long for that hot sun to burn up a device. I found that out with my phone. Unfortunately, I didn't burn it up, caught it in time. But yeah, I've got to be cautious here. So we're turning over to one side with our bodies. And we're just going to do a twist here. I think it was the other day. Josephine asked for twists. So, was it you, Josephine? You could tell me afterwards. Someone did. So we just did a twist in between everything that we were working on that day. Sitting up here, before we go into that twist, let's take our hands on our knees and bring our heart forward. Looking up, moving cow, and then exhale, curl, tuck, round. Again, that curling, that tucking, that rounding, that opening, it's going to depend on your spinal condition. Okay? But this is a good one. No matter where you are, even if you don't find a lot of movement, it is intending on that movement, right? And that sometimes is what is really needed. Let's do one more here. Very good. And sitting up straight and tall, take your hands to the back of that chair. That might be enough for your twist. For instance, for me, that's enough, just taking my hands there. I can also look, but if some of you want to use leverage with the back of that chair and help yourself into that twist a little bit more, please do so. Listening to your body, pulling in and strengthening in that core area to protect the lower spine. Taking the gaze back just a little bit more. And then slowly unwinding your head and taking your hands to your thighs. 4 sets just of cow and cat, please. Follow breath. Good, you guys. And then let's go ahead and turn to the other side, okay? And here we are, 4 sets, cat-cow. So even in this cat-cow, I can feel that there's a little more release in my lower spine. That is really a positive thing for me to consider at this point. Go ahead and take your hands to the back of your chair. Already feeling a twist there. Take your head to follow. Take the rest of your body and follow, and use it as much leverage as you need or want there. Keep taking the eyes back into the eye sockets there. Working into the neck area, shoulders, chest, waist, internal digestive organs, all internal organs in the upper body. Taking my head back, releasing my hands onto my thighs or knees in 4 sets. Cat-cow. Following my breath. And this is nice and slow, easy. Taking myself up. And finding myself back towards you. And now I'm going to take my back onto the back of the chair. This is where blocks are nice to have under your feet, just to raise them up a little bit so that you are not cutting into the underside of your legs so much. And you can put everything into really good alignment here. I need to start doing this with meditation in the morning, because the chair I sit on, I always end up feeling it's not as comfortable as I would really like it to be. So I'm going to come on back. Yes, letting every vertebrae come into the back of that chair, including that lumbar spine of mine. And I'm going to pull in at my navel so that I feel that whole lumbar spine attaching to any part of the chair. And my chair has a full back on the back of it. I don't know about you guys. Maybe there's nothing there for you to attach to. But everything is attached. Pulling into shoulders, pulling all the way down into lumbar spine, pulling in here so that I feel that that lumbar spine curve has just been erased, right? So I'm active right now. I'm going to release in just a moment. Take a few breaths here. Still letting all of my back become part of the chair. One more big breath here. And then let that lumbar spine release. Let your chin come gently towards your chest. Let your chin gently lift. Gaze up. Let your chin one more time find your chest. Lifting up and looking up. Take your chin back into neutral. Let's take our arms out, cross, and hug ourselves, pulling ourselves back into that chair some more. Hug, pull in on shoulders, pull down on shoulders. Open up, notice what hand was on top. Re-hug, opposite hand on top. And anything else that you might like, want, or need. And then releasing my hands down. Taking a couple breaths together here. Slow, full, deep, long, strong. Make a list of all the descriptors that would fit some really mindful breathing. Just think of any, let me know. All right, and then just taking my back away from the chair, sitting upright as we started class, taking hands at heart center here, and taking ourselves and our thoughts into our own space, to our own hearts. Thanking one another for being here.